recap from Oklahoma and then preview this Friday?
No, I think, what we said about Oklahoma, after the meet it was great. It was, minus not getting the win, which we always want to get. It was a nice bounce back. The crowd really helped us a lot. We can't thank our fans enough for showing up at that level with that level of fervor, and it really gave us a shot in the arm. And so we spent this week kind of recovering from not only the physical toll that the first couple of weeks have taken on us, but just the mental and emotional toll that the kids were trying to wrap their heads around and that kind of thing. So we rested a little more than we might normally, and we will train today, and we go into this meet at Missouri, and then we should be able to get back into our normal kind of cadence as we go through the remainder of the season. And so, that's kind of where we are, and hopefully today we do some productive things and get ready to go tomorrow, because Missouri's a tough team, and as I've said before, there's not any easy outs in this conference anymore. There used to be. It used to be, the top schools and then everybody else, you could pretty much know what you were going to get. It's not that way anymore right now outside of Florida.
You've learned a lot about your team's competitiveness, though.
Yeah, I think what we see is that we do have some gamers. We have some kids that want to, when the lights come on, they seem to rise to the occasion, and that's a great attribute to have. You never want to change that. But some of them need to learn that they've got to be able to do it in practice too, at a consistent level, so that everybody is confident that they're going to go, not just them. And so we're learning that. That's part of growth. It's not unique to us. We've had gymnasts around here in the past that we're very similar. Kennedy Edney comes to mind all the time, and that we finally put her out there and we realized we've got a competitor, and we had to get her along throughout the years to get better and better at being consistent in training. And so we're getting there with some of them.
Do you have enough routines?
Do we have enough?
Yeah.
Yeah, we have enough right now, assuming I don't go downstairs and get something else from the trainer who I affectionately call Satan's little helper sometimes, because we seem to get bad news more times than not. But no, as far as I know, we're status quo. Bryce is going to be okay. Right now, we just kind of need to give her a little bit of time to kind of get her confidence going again. Probably won't compete her tomorrow. It'll probably be a similar lineup to what you saw on Monday.
There's something to be said about breaking into the win column, getting that first.
Yeah, and I think that's kind of at the forefront of everybody's mind right now. We need to do that. It's a psychological thing, if nothing else. I mean, it doesn't amount to a whole lot more in our sport, but yeah, it does. And we're still in the hunt for a regular season, championship and those kinds of things. So, we want to win, and I don't mean to diminish that in anything that I say, but in our sport we got to keep our eye on the big picture. As I've said before, you can win every meet all year long and then go have one bad day and it's over, and it doesn't make any difference. We're going to the postseason. We know we're that caliber of team. In a loss on Monday, you will see, probably as the next set of rankings come out, we will have jumped fairly significantly. I don't know what that will look like just yet, but so even though you lose a meet, you climb in the rankings, and that seems antithetical to anything that goes on in any other sport, but it is the thing. But yeah, we want to win, and we need to win this one, and we need to, get another shot in the arm, because Monday doesn't mean a thing if we can't sustain it, and that's what we've been telling the kids. We've got to stay in that same mindset and try to grow and get better, because there's still plenty of places from an execution standpoint that we need to do a better job of.
No offense to Missouri, but it's not hard to try to elevate your game for an Oklahoma coming in national champions, number one, to replicate that.
Missouri finished 5th in the country last year. I don't think it's any mystery to us that they're a good team. Our kids, that's not lost on them. I don't know. Surely, I mean, from a fan perspective, Oklahoma is the marquee name on everybody's board, I'm sure, but along with Florida. But we know who Missouri is. Missouri beat us last year, and Missouri finished number 5 in the country, and that was a historical season for that program. So if we take if we take anything off of the edge that we had for Oklahoma for this meet, we'll get in trouble.
How do you replicate that juice?
Well, I don't know. I think the messaging stays the same. I think it's, we really tried not to change a lot about what our approach was, but just from Friday to Monday, it was more about reminding them to stand pat, stick with the plan, circle the wagons, and let's continue to be what we said our identity was going to be. It really wasn't anything new, and I don't anticipate us needing to do anything new from that standpoint too. As long as we continue to show growth and forward movement towards where we want to be in March and April, then the message is going to stay the same.
Elena and KJ kind of stand out as needing to rein it in or figure it out to some degree.
Yeah, well, KJ I think is just pressing a little bit. You see sophomores do that a lot when they kind of have the big splash as freshmen, and because her mistake, there have been minor mistakes. She hasn't had a major mistake, but she's had little things, and it moves around. It's not in the same place, and that generally tells you that it's something going on between the ears. It's not a technique issue, and so I've just been talking to her about just settling down and just being KJ, because that's enough, and it was enough last year, and you don't have to try to replicate or do more or anything. Just be true to who you are and be the same. Take the same approach that you always have, and you see that a lot with kids that make big splashes as freshmen. A lot of times they start pressing because they're trying to be even bigger, do something better, and it's something you have to fight off. Great athletes in every sport do that. Sophomore slumps, you ever heard of that? I mean, and it's the same. It kind of is the same thing.
She looks great, or it looks like she has the potential
Oh,
of greatness.
she's phenomenal. She's phenomenal. She'll just settle down and relax a little bit and not let her get in her own head about having to be perfect or having to be a certain thing, and just perform. If she just goes and I told you one time when I asked Bubba Watson what he thought when he hit that shot at the Masters that was essentially a 90-degree turn that put him within 3 feet of the hole, because I had a chance to meet him, and I said, "What'd you think in that moment?" He said, "I thought swing the club." And that's what I want our kids to do. Just swing the club. Just go out there and do and perform, and don't give it a whole lot of extra thought. Their body and their training, they've got to be able to trust. They know more. Their bodies know more gymnastics than any coach is ever going to be able to teach them.
Tori still back on bars?
Yeah, I think that's the one spot where we still got a little bit of variation just day to day, because Ashley Cowan's doing a good job too, and. As a freshman, I'd like her to find us time to get in there and get some experience as well. But the two of them have been a little bit. They're two of the ones I'm talking about. In practice, we see greatness, and then we see the next day where it's a little less than what we'd seen before, and we've got to get that leveled out between the two of them so that they, neither one of them really separated themselves from each other. But Tori right now, with the score that she got and the fact that she has such a tremendous level of experience at the international level, I trust her. I trust her in those competitive situations, and so my guess is that she'll be in. Yeah.
Libby still out?
Lives out indefinitely until the docs tell us that shin has calmed down enough that we can get going. Like I said, it's not a fracture. It's the beginnings of a stress reaction, and because of where it is, not because of the severity of it, this is strictly precautionary. She says she's not hurting, but they see something on the MRI that concerns them, so we go with what they ask us to do.
Elena looked like she really stepped up for you.
Elena is killing it. Elena is a competitor. She's she's one of those ones that's learned to be consistent in practice too. First couple of years, she struggled with that. A lot of club kids do, because when you're in club, you're gonna compete week to week, because you're not representing a team. You're not trying to make a lineup in most cases, unless you're competing for the U.S., trying to qualify to Worlds or something. But Elena, sometimes struggled in practice her first 2 years. This year, it's been a totally different person. I think I mentioned that to you guys before. She's gotten so much more consistent in her training. And I think it's carried over, and now you see her contributing at a very high level on 3 events, and that I don't see any reason that won't continue.
It's just maturity.
Yeah, I think it's maturity and understanding the differences between the collegiate way of doing things versus in club. You're going to train 35 hours a week, and here we've got a tight window. We got to get it in under 20, and efficiency is the name of the game. It's not about numbers and repetition. It's about quality over quantity and feeling good about what you did every day so that your confidence grows and therefore your consistency grows and they feed each other.
How's Kaya?
Wonderful. I mean, as good as can be expected. She's just Kaya's Kaya. She turned her emotions into immediately on the floor when the injury happened. It was immediately encouraging her teammates. So she's doing well. She's recovering physically, and that's just going to take some time. But as far as her spirit and her leadership, she's everything she's ever been.
She said on the broadcast, man, she was having surgery this week.
She had it Tuesday.
Oh,
It's been done, yeah. So it went well. Everything status quo. Our trainer was present in the surgery itself and saw it, and everything seemed.
your trainer.
Our trainer, yeah. Jenny.
I thought you said her trainer too. I was like, oh, she has her own trainer? Yeah, well, yeah.
No,
It's 2023.
our trainer, yeah.
No, it's fine. Now, speaking of recruiting, you gotta do some more recruiting.
Yeah, well, yeah, with Kaya, you mean? Yeah, she knows I want her to stick around, and
Well, now
and
she's got, as you said, two pretty rock solid.
she should be bulletproof at this point, right? I mean, the way they repair those things, I think in some ways when it happened, not that she wanted it to happen, and I don't, but there's a relief that goes with it. Like we've been nursing and bringing along and slow and taking every precaution and augmenting her training, and it's an everyday conversation, and it was wearing on her. And I think in some ways she's like, finally, I don't have to worry about it anymore. Even though I know she would do anything to be out there with her team doing it. So it's kind of a two-edged sword a little bit.
Haley Bryant was talking a while ago, like she says, I got 2 years left. I could have a third, but you coach a sport where this is the end, like
Right.
there's no NFL, NBA. What is that like when you're coaching? I mean, it's more emotional for them as they're wrapping their career?
Yeah,
Or,
yeah. You see seniors begin. Sometimes there are seniors that bury it down deep, and then it comes flying out in the postseason, and they start to get erratic. And then there's seniors that start freaking out when they realize it's their last, first everything. The last first day of practice, the last first meet in the PMAC, and they sort of get. And then there's others that I've seen that will begin to sort of transition their mind a little prematurely, like before you want them to, like, wait, we're not done yet. You can't move on to the next phase of your life yet. So everybody's different, but there is a finality that comes along with this because they know there's not a next level that they can aspire to go to. And so everybody's different. They deal with it in different ways, but we affectionately call it senioritis. It shows in many forms.
that makes the NIL different for your sport too, right?
Yeah, I think so too, which is why I've been such a supporter of it, because it's the only opportunity they have to capitalize on everything they've done probably since they were 4 or 5 years old, and the commitment that they've made to the sport. This is it, and they're not moving on to a big contract somewhere else, and so that's why I support what's going on with NIL within our sport, and because I think it's good for these guys to be rewarded at some level for what they've done. And it really doesn't matter whether I like it or not. It is here, and so given that it's here, we need to get behind it because it is their only shot.